Hello, Relentless family. It is so exciting to be back on another Thursday. I am still trying to get used to this bi-weekly thing. I hope you guys are too. It's working better for my schedule, but I miss it every Thursday. But we are still being relentless. We are moving forward with our change, and I'm excited to be back. Y'all know this is my favorite day. And for those who are just joining us for the first time, welcome. I am your host, Kenyatta, and I am also the counselor and founder of Relentless Counseling. And we are here to get relentless. We are here to thrive towards our best selves, love ourselves unconditionally, walk in our purpose, and answer the calling that is on our life. And we do that by just going deeper within ourselves, deeper with our connections, aligning to our higher power, aligning to who we are in our core to be able to express and change the world outwardly. So that is what our role here in Relentless Thursday podcast. And we're excited to have another day. And we are in February. This is kind of my favorite month because it's also a month where I do a lot of reflection on my growth, where I've been, where I'm going, because in this month, we naturally celebrate love because Valentine's Day is in this month, but we celebrate love every single day. We don't need Valentine's Day to celebrate the love we have for others or the love that we have for ourselves. And also what goes on this month is Black History Month. And Black History Month is just such a powerful, powerful movement for me because it just reminds me of who all came before me, who all aligned to their best self to be able to allow me to be able to walk this walk that I'm walking in this journey in this season of my life. And I am so excited to be able to live in that legacy that not just like way back to my ancestors, but as far back as to my mom, my dad, even further to go to my grandmother, both of my sides of my grandparents. And to be able to know that they fought, they cried, they prayed, that they endured, that they were showing relentlessness within themselves that taught me how to be the best version of myself in every season of my life. They taught me what to align to, who to connect to, and just going deeper with my roots of Black history and being an African American. I have so much honor and pride in that. And it also teaches me how to love myself even deeper and more, even through every struggle that I've been through, because it has been a journey, and not only a journey of healing, a journey of self-love, or a journey of walking in my purpose or answering the calling that God has given me, but it's also been a journey of self-reflection. It's been a journey of telling a story, not only that I'm telling for myself, but also the story that I tell to share, to continue the history, to continue the legacy that my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents have brought down from generation to generation to myself. And it's my job to pass that along to the next generation after me. And right now I have no kids. I have no children to pass down to, but I still pass it down to people who look like me. I also pass that legacy and honor and pride and story down to those that don't look like me, those who are intrigued by who I am and want to know me and know, okay, my culture and my background and where I come from. I pass those stories down to them as well to be able to tell the full story, the true story. So that way, when other people are telling our story, not just for myself, but just our story in general, that they know the facts, that it's not just, oh, hearsay, she say from another culture, but they know it from the culture, from us. And I think that's what I love about Black history, that everyone comes together and celebrate and honor what we have to offer, not just America, but for the world, not just the big people that we talk about all the time, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. These are great people, but there are people right in your family that have made a tremendous mark in your life and in the life of your community. And so we honor them. So I take this time now to just appreciate Black History Month, those that came before us, those had struggled, those who have paved the way, who may not have been able to see the promise or where their sacrifice was, how their sacrifice was met. but we're here. And I just want to take that time to appreciate them. That's came way. And I hope you guys are doing that as well in your way, in your communities, within yourself. And I recognize in the past 2 weeks that I have been doing that by rewriting and redefining my love story. We just came off Valentine's Day, so I'm still in this whole love vibe, but we get to tell our story, our love story, our way. And this year, reflecting back, as I told you, that February is the year that I reflect on how far I've come, thinking about my ancestors, thinking about my family, the legacy that I derive from, how they align, what they prayed for. And then I'm realizing that in this season now, where I'm at now, of how God is answering me, how God is not only showing me love and showing me how to love others or how to love him, but he's also been showing me how to love myself. And I have been in awe in the past 2 weeks, almost emotional, but happy emotions, to know that my love story is evolving. My love story with myself is evolving. My love story with God, my love story with my family, my friends, people that I'm connected to, it's evolving and changing. And I recognize it's changing not because of the great things that are happening and how things are moving in my life, but I recognize how it's changing and how I find peace when I'm struggling, or when I'm frustrated, or when I can't talk to my favorite person in the world anymore, because we're evolving, growing into separate seasons in our life, and we're going our separate ways. But I've learned that, this is God showing me how to love myself. And some days, and for some of us, and I know a lot of you guys can relate to me on this, that sometimes Valentine's Day is not a day of love. It is a day of a reminder of being alone or being lonely. Remember, I know we talked about it before, how being alone and being lonely are two different things. But it's a reminder of love lost, or things you remember about people that you lost in your life that passed away, whether that's parents, spouses, partners, friends. It sometimes is a rough day, and sometimes we can dread the 14th that's coming, and we can sit in depression and sit in sadness or sit in anxiety of what this means for us in this season of our life, whatever season that you're in. But I recognize that this year on Valentine's Day, which Valentine's Day for me is just another day, but this year was different. This year I was intentional with not worrying about where I'm at, why, who I'm not talking to no more, or where God is taking me. I decided that, this Valentine's Day, this love story this year and this season in my life, it's not about another person. It's not about a partner right now. It is about my relationship with myself and building that love story that is my foundation. And so, guys, I brought myself roses that I had sent to my home. I also wrote myself a note, and I didn't even remember what I wrote, because I did this about a few weeks before February hit. And I kind of forgot that I wrote the note. And so when I read the note, I was like, wow, look at my thought process of change towards myself in this season, and in this time where I am preparing myself for my future mate or my future husband, or I'm allowing God to come in and move me and wait on him in this season of my life, or where he's taking me, even through different changes. Like, you guys know I've had great changes. I've had a lot of struggle in some of the changes, but that this change is doing nothing but pushing me and propelling me forward. And it's this love story that I'm creating, this new love story that I'm creating. And I feel refreshed. I feel like, hey, I just lit the fire in myself again, and learning how to love myself unconditionally. And you guys know throughout every episode that we talk about on Thursdays is that it's about self-love and how to strengthen and love ourselves unconditionally. And I realize when we really look and reflect on what happiness is, what joy is, and what our love looks like versus what we expect it to look like when it happens, it can be two totally different visions and visuals. And what I love about that is different is because what I expected and what I got so much more than what I expected or what I pictured it to look like, of my healing, of my journey of happiness and joy and finding my best self in this season, is that, wow, I thought it would look like this, but it looks like this, but I'm enjoying this so much better. And I'm recognizing that, you know what? When I take away my expectations and let's let things flow and let things happen, I feel more in control and more free than I do when I'm trying to force things to happen, when I'm trying to force an expectation to happen of what I feel it should look like. When God is saying, I see things that you don't see and I have a different perspective from you. I want you to see yourself through my eyes. And that is what I have learned in my love story this month, is that I am seeing myself now the way God sees me, not the way others see me, whether that is my enemy, whether that is my friends, family, or loved ones, but I am seeing it from God's point of view. And God's point of view is like, you know what? Why do I put this pressure on myself, beating myself up, not giving myself compassion, and not loving myself the way God loves me? Even through my mess, even through my mistakes, sometimes bad choices that are not mistakes because I keep doing them, but I'm learning how to just trust God and trust myself on my journey and just take one step at a time. And this is not like, oh, this happened overnight, that this happened. It took years, it took some time, but now it's starting to come to fruition and I'm starting to see it more clearly now than I've ever seen it before. And I was listening the other day to on Instagram, and I was listening to this song, and I wish I could play the song for you, but you guys know when it comes to video, YouTube, and social media, there's copyrights, and I ain't trying to get in trouble for nobody. And I definitely want to make sure this artist gets all the props and all, and I'm hoping that she records this song soon. But this artist on Instagram, she wrote a song, and it's so beautiful to the point that it brought me to tears, and it just touched my soul of how I look at my dark days, how I look at God and how he loves me in the midst of when things are going good, and how he loves me in the midst of when I am struggling and I'm in the trenches and he's right there with me. So this song, it talks about the son confronting her about the affair that she's having with night, with the moon. And so the son is upset. It's like, hey, I give you butterflies, I give you rainbows, I give you all this, and then you have an affair on me with the moon. What does the moon have that I don't have? And she's like, don't, and the son is like, don't deny it. I've already confronted the moon. I already know what's happening. It's happened. And the son is like, so what's up? What's happening? And so her response was, I have nothing against the day. I love the blue rays that you give the sun. But before you bring me your pouring rain, she talks about how the moon gives her the stars at night. And that the moon takes in the stars, and when she sees that, because it's such a unique thing that the sun cannot do for her, that the stars takes her breath away, and that it's refreshing and it's powerful. And then she says that when I'm in the night and when the moon and the stars are there, is that I realize that the world is mine to seize and life is just a beautiful dream. And when I interpret this song and in these lyrics and this poetry, basically what it is I interpret it into my spiritual vision and my spiritual walk. And I recognize that when I am having good days, I go to God. I'm always praising, I'm always worshiping him, and I'm always trying to align myself to be my best self, growing and pushing myself to different heights, expanding, asking God to expand my territory. And he's doing it. And I'm enjoying that in that way. And me and God have this relationship when we connect. But there is something different when it is at night, or when I'm in my dark space, or when I'm like just in the valley, or I'm trying to climb this mountain that is just so hard for me to climb, and my faith is getting weary, or I'm not trusting myself. When she says that the stars take my breath away, I look at that as like, you know what? That's God for me in those dark days, that those stars are him, and he's taking my breath away, because I realize that when I'm in the trenches, when I'm in my dark spaces, or when I am in this valley, I am not alone, that he is there with me, and not always just comforting me and coddling me, but he's also with me, pushing me or standing by me when I cry. Sometimes I feel in that moment he's crying with me, but he's loving me and showing me that true empathy, that he is feeling my pain and that he can relate to me. And it's just a different experience that I feel when I'm in the trenches and I know God is there. I feel closer to God when I am being challenged, when my faith is being tested, because I see him with me every step of the way now. And I couldn't see that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when God, my dark days are the worst days, or my dark days are like, God, I'm in this by myself, take the pain away. And I know some of us know what I'm talking about. Some of us may have those dark days where you feel so down, where you have thoughts of suicide, or you feel so down that you self-sabotage. You feel so down where you isolate yourself and you don't let nobody in, and you hold on to these bondages and barriers and walls up, and that you can't see happiness or even know what the day looks like. But when we really reflect on our love story and what that love story looks like, I feel that we get our answers not in the beautiful day and the butterflies and the rainbows outside. We get those answers in those dark spaces. We get it at night, and that moon and those stars that's God, or whatever that's pushing you and driving you, whatever's your core value, that's pushing you and giving you the light and saying, hey, you got this, because you are relentless. And we get knocked down, but you get back up, but you're not getting back up by yourself, that there is power with you. There's support in that. And every time you get back up, you're aligning to a higher power. You're aligning to a different energy. You're aligning to a different set of strength that you may not have had when you first got into the trenches or in the valley, or trying to climb that mountain. You're utilizing tools now because you're choosing you're choosing your higher power, and you're aligning yourself also to people around you that's going to uplift you versus tearing you down. And that's what I learned about this love story. And I wanted to take time tonight on this Thursday just to have a brief, because I know we had an amazing session episode last week where we talked for a whole hour about God's voice and finding our own inner voice. But listening to our love story and understanding what that looks like, and having that relationship with ourselves and connecting that to people who came before us, that aligned themselves, fought for you, even when they didn't even know you existed. And I wanted to take this time to talk about that love story, share my love story with you guys, because I'm so excited about the love story that I am creating with myself and creating with God. And I challenge you to start that love story with yourself, with your higher power, with who you are, and identifying what that looks like, not just in the happy times and the joy times, but where that love comes from in that vulnerable space, in that space when no one else can see, no one else understands, but being able to love yourself differently and see that stars and the moon as that metaphor, what that looks like for you. And knowing that, see what takes your breath away. Sometimes we'd be surprised when we really break down and become aware of what actually takes our breath away. So I told you guys that I'm not going to go long. So I wanted to keep this short and sweet. But I want you to be able to love yourself, not just on Valentine's Day or when you show love for others, but take time. Even if this is a hard Valentine's or hard month for you, or a hard year for you starting off, take time to take care of yourself. Love yourself, date yourself, fall in love with yourself. Ask yourself those same questions you would ask if you were dating someone new and you want to get to know them. This is a time to really explore who you are, what you are, how you interact with yourself is just as important with how you interact with others. Because when this relationship is strong and that foundation is set and you have that strong love story with yourself, when you add to that, you'll be able to add an additional person, whether that's male, female, whoever that is, that addition is just going to continue to grow and develop with yourself, with that self-love, and you're adding another love to you where you learn how to love others as well, your partner. And friendships, it don't even mean like intimate relationships, friendships, our colleagues, people that we work with, that we spend a lot of intimate time with, or platonic time with. It can be important for you to understand your own love story and what that looked like. And your love story is very unique to yourself. It is not going to be like Michael's love story. It's not going to be like Michelle's love story. It's not going to be like Kenyatta's love story. You have your own love story, and you have to figure out what that looked like, because it's beautiful, and tap into it. Now is the time to recognize how much you have healed, how much you have changed, how much you have evolved, and that you're taking that next step to your best self. You guys know I love Thursdays. This is one of my favorite days of the week, because we get to come in and we get to talk. We get to get vulnerable with each other, be open with each other, and get deeper and get relentless. And that's what it's about. So we can spread love and spread this positivity where we can change the world and heal the world. Our world needs a healing. And we are here for it in every aspect of our lives, mind, body, and spirit. So you know the saying, you know what I'm going to say. Share this video or episode, because I know some are watching the video, some are just listening to the audio. But share this with your family, with your friends, with strangers. Let's spread the word and love ourselves differently. Let's understand our own unique love story. We are here bi-weekly, so I will see you again in 2 weeks. Please stay safe. Until next time, bye for now.